Good morning, guys. This is Miguel with In Plain Sight Security and Readiness. Making a video today. I'm trying to do this three-part series, the evolution of the prepper. This is going to be part one. Now, in my opinion, you evolve in kind of stages, or most people who prep eventually are evolved to certain stages. Usually, you're a beginner, and then, you turn into more of an advanced prepper, and then you pretty much become expert after a while, because you've prepped whatever you need to prep. Some people more extremely than others, and then, your skills have been perfected, and you became very resourceful. You've trained and you've learned, and you applied your skills. So this video here is more for a beginner prepper. Also, when you were beginning prepping, and again, we all start off with a reason why we prep. That's the first thing, and it could be something very small, like it could be been like a storm, natural disaster, something like that, where we were doing it and we didn't even know. I made a video about this too. It's titled "Everyone's a Survivalist," because a lot of times we go into survival mode for something, and we don't look at ourselves as survivalists. When there's we know there's a storm coming, we'll get a couple extra bottles of water, get some candles, get a few extra cans of foods, get the non-perishable foods, some bread, some sliced sandwiches, fill up the cooler with ice, whatnot, and really we're prepping, but we don't look at it that way. It's not until we become extreme with our preps, that it's funny, that's when you get frowned upon. It's weird, people look at you crazy because all of a sudden you took your preparations to the next level. But as a beginning prepper, that's where it all starts, something like that. And then at some point maybe you weren't as prepared as you thought you were, and you learned from your experience, and then next you got new gear, you learned new skills, you learned from what your mistakes were, and then you became better. And then you figure out there's other stuff I can prepare for too, why not? Or maybe your family status changed. You went from being a single guy, now you have kids, so now you got to provide for your whole family. So then that's what really triggers stuff a lot of times, and then that's when you really start to learn. You really start to see, what does my family need to survive, whatever they need to survive for. And a lot of times you start prepping for stuff that normally doesn't happen every day, but just in case it does happen, you start prepping for. So and like I said in some of my other videos, a lot of times it almost always starts with a bag, because no one wants to get caught unprepared when they're out and about. So you make the bug out bag. You get all the stuff in the bug out bag. You go with the elements of survival. You get your knives and your gun, ammunition, stuff like that for security. You get the first aid kit, medicine, stuff like that for first aid. You get a tarp, or you get some kind of what do you call those hammocks with the shelters on it? Something minimal for shelter. You get the fire starter, or you get the waterproof matches, storm matches. You make your own kindling so it can start those fires. You find out how to purify water, about purification of water, and you get your water filters and your water purifying tablets and all that stuff. And next thing you know, you got a bug out bag, and then you realize you're a prepper. But at that point, you think you're sufficient prepper, but reality is you're really not, because really all you have is gear, but you have no skill. Yeah, you watched a few YouTube videos. Yeah, you went camping before, but if shit really hit the fan and you need to survive off of what you got on what you have, you really would lose confidence, because you haven't trained with half of this stuff. You haven't gotten the skill set that you would want to have in a situation, because you don't have no experience. You're still new. You know, you don't have that confidence of training or experience. You know, and sometimes you don't even have the example, because a lot of times you need good example. And that's when you start reaching out to other preppers, you know, other people who do know these skills, and you start training with them, and then you become proficient at that stuff. But it all usually starts with a bag, and then from a bag, you start thinking, well, how much food am I going to have? You start really breaking down to what you're going to have. You know, how much food. You know, you start learning about the whole food saver stuff. You start learning about Mylar bags. You start using Mylar bags. You know, you learn a little bit about canning. You're not into it yet, but you know about it. You start learning. You're looking to buy this stuff. You know, you're watching the YouTube videos. You're getting the knowledge. Really, when you're a beginning prepper, you know, you're like a sponge. You're just trying to soak up as much as you can, but maybe you might not have the money to do it. And even if you do have the money, still, you can't buy years of knowledge and download it into your brain, you know. All this skill set, you can't just ain't like the Matrix where they put a chip, or, you know, they plug you in, and next, you know, they download all this information, boom, you have it, you know. All of a sudden you know how to fight karate and all this stuff. No, it don't happen that way. You know, stuff you got to learn, and it's stuff that happens over a period of time. Definitely doesn't happen overnight. And that's usually a beginner prepper. You know, you're just in the beginning stages. You know, you're planning, you're learning, you know, you're over time, you know, getting the gear and supplies that you need, you know, before you reach that next level of prepper or survivalist. You know, you're still in that beginning stages. And it takes, you know, it takes a while. It takes, quite a few months to a year to actually really get the experience and the knowledge and stuff like that before you can truly say that you're confident with your preps and your skill set. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. If you liked the video, let me know. Hit the like button, share the video. You can always subscribe to the channel, and give me some feedback. And like always, you know, be humble, stay alert, and always be ready.